The modern world offers a lot of things, so many wonderful things: abundance of food, protection from lions and tigers in danger, the internet, Netflix, cars, lots of cool things. I like modern technology, but you have to look at modern society, other things that it creates in disease, cancers, diseases in the modern world, diabetes, obesity, what else? Autoimmune disorders, mental health problems, developmental disabilities, chronic depression, all sorts of ills that come with modern society. And is there one thing that causes this? No, there's multiple things, but we can pinpoint a couple. And I think the overarching thing is, and it's not to say that there was no disease back in the day, there was no problems back in the day, but modern society, welcome and fam, much love, Trav here. We're going to dive into natural healing today from a critical eye that respects modern society, respects modern medicine as well. I think you look at the way that we live right now, and there's a massive departure from the way that we've been living, and that causes problem, that causes a lot of the disease and suppresses us in a lot of ways. So how about, for instance, immune system expecting us to be walking 4 to 10 or even 12, 20 miles a day, and most people are sitting inside? How about vitamin D deficiency, of people not getting enough sunshine? How about the problems caused by extended sitting and lack of movement, right? How about eating diseased food, or eating sick animals, or eating a very narrow band of foods that's really high in artificial sweeteners, preservatives, sugars, salts, and really low in micronutrients, lacking the vibrancy there. How about how isolated people are from their communities, all individual walls and units, and how that causes mental health and depression, and people not having obligation to do a certain thing. They're given so much freedom to choose anything. People are in their 20s, not sure what they're going to do with their life, and they find that depressing, right? So there's lots of problems that are caused from departure of modern society from ancient society. So when we're looking at healing sick people, people who are sick, have ills from the modern world, we have to also look back at how these things can be healed by going back to ancient ways. Now, I am a fan of modern medicine, especially when there's no other option, and you should be too, as penicillin works, except when it doesn't work, when antibiotics don't work because it's overused and we don't adapt fast enough, and it causes people to it causes diseases, superbugs that don't die to antibiotics, right? And no one's saying that vaccines don't work. People are saying there's downside to doing 8 vaccines all at once into a small child, right? There's just downsides to it that you need to be aware of, right? That are underplayed or swept under the rug. So I'm not going to have a discussion about vaccines. I'm not going to have a discussion about antibiotics so much as what you can do. Now, there's one other thing to be aware of, and that's like bugs in the system. There's a couple, I like quite a bit capitalist system, but there's a couple bugs in it. Bugs being things that like basically cause problems. Generally, the thing that the most commercial venture winning is good, but there's problems where, one example is planned obsolescence. Obsolescence is the aging out and breaking of machines. So they used to make washing machines that never died, never broke. The problem was that you couldn't make money after the initial sale. They used to make phone screens that didn't crack. Now all the phone screens crack on purpose. Why? Planned obsolescence. That's not conspiracy, that's marketing, that's well known. And it kind of sucks, but there's a couple bugs like that. Another bug with modern medicine is that if something is not commercially viable, it doesn't get as much funding as it otherwise would. So for instance, like marijuana is becoming commercially viable as medicinal, and that's getting more energy now. But you look at natural remedies and plants, turmeric, ginger, essential oils, and stuff like that. If you're looking at compounds that anyone can have grabbed from an oregano plant, then you can't trademark that, and it's not particularly commercially viable. It doesn't receive the research that it should. It doesn't get the recommendation from doctors. When you look at doctors, Doctors, and I see this cool rising up here talking about doctors prescribing vegetables. Have you heard of that? Going back to the diet, it makes a lot of sense, but you don't see people we don't see it as being a mainstay of our health system, which is really a sick system where they diagnose you with sickness and then give you, something that you should take, which you probably should take. But let's talk about natural healing. Natural healing being looking at what's actually causing the illness, like forget the symptoms, and what's actually causing it and how we can fix it, right? So we identified some causes of modern sickness. One is being like just shitty diet. If you have a bad diet, a modern diet that can cause you cancer, it will cause you obesity, it will give you lethargy, it will give you depression. So you're eating and drinking, you're eating fast food and drinking a bunch of soda and candy. Why don't you take a step back, and if you switched up your diet to a variety of vibrant plants and vegetables and produce and fruit, and the meat that you're getting is coming from healthy animals sourced living outside, they're not diseased, they're not sick, they don't have antibiotics in them, and so on, then you're probably gonna see an improvement in health. You're probably gonna heal, and that could heal obesity, it could heal autoimmune problems and mental health problems and so on. It can do a lot. So that's one. Another is a change of lifestyle. If possible, people get sick from being inside all the time. No vitamin D, no fresh air, not walking around, no salt water, no bathing in the ocean, right? No saunas. So if you change your lifestyle, become healthier. And this is one of the things that led me to farm work. So I don't want to be stuck in traffic, breathing in exhaust fumes, stuck behind a diesel truck. That has real health consequences. I don't want to have constant airplanes flying overhead, making it harder for me to think and screwing with my ability to sing outside, right? So a change of lifestyle, that's why it's not accessible to everyone, but people will go like recover in the countryside and get healthy. Nature therapy, forest bathing's a thing, earthing is a thing, getting your bare feet in soil, electrical grounding or whatever actually has some benefits, right? So, walking around is another thing we think about. Walking around on concrete causes, we need shoes for concrete, but concrete is really, one, I guess it's easier to sanitize, prevent disease in major cities, but if anything, like concrete is designed for wheels, obviously, not for feet. You look at studies of animals on concrete, it's not the greatest. So I'm not saying go barefoot, but I'm saying if you can go back to some forest trails or walk around on grass, or that might correct some of the problems. You have back injuries, lower back pain. It might be coming up from your fucked up feet, from fucked up environment, right, and passing up the body. So that could be a factor as well. And then you have people who are depressed and people who are feeling down. Well, it's not going to happen overnight, but a return to community living, a return to a sort of society where you have obligation. You have the Hawaiian concept of kuleana, or a Chinese concept of basically familial obligation, where there's no question of, I don't know, what do I want to do when I grow up. It's like it's more thrust upon you, or it's more designated, or you feel like an obligation, right? Once you start feeding the animals, they become your responsibility. And that sort of a thing where it gives people purpose and fulfillment, where they're not so confused and isolated, and people are living together in community, and that's cures for depression right there. So I don't have all the answers, and I'm not going to slam and say vaccines don't work. They do, and that antibiotics don't work. Sometimes they don't, but they often do, and that doctors don't care. They do, but it's a kind of pretty warped system with a couple bugs and flaws in it. And if you take a step back and zoom out and look at the big picture of society, you look at the big picture of long-term health, you look at the big picture of how we used to live compared to how we currently live, then I think you can see that A lot of healing can take place. A lot of healing can take place if, by doing individually, what can you do? Because it's hard to like change society. Individually, what can you do is eat healthier, get outside a little bit more, walk and exercise a little bit more, meditate, breathe, reduce stress, cortisol. We didn't even talk about that. What else can you do? Have a wide variety of diet, eating medicinal plants as well, medicinal nutritional plants, living in community, and working for obligation, and a lot of these things is going to improve health for you, the way that you feel. So hope you find that useful. Meanwhile, no, gotta mess with the sheep right now. They're trying to do something they shouldn't. So hope you find that useful and helpful. Let me know what you think in the comments. For more about health and how to feel good and so on, make sure to check out my book on Amazon, Lessons from I Wish I Had Told Me Sooner, Lessons for Young Men. And I'm also working on a book, The Food Life, talking all about this sort of a thing, food and health and departure from normality, basically, into this crazy new world. So hope you find that helpful, and look forward to hearing what you have to say in the comments down below. Peace out.